Hello, everybody. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I have a special guest for you today. I'm really excited to introduce Miss Naz. Is it Naz?
No.
Maduro. She is the author of Latino Nutrition, the easy weight loss guide for Latinos. She has a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition from Lehman College. She is a board certified dietitian, okay? Board certified also in diabetes care and education. She has additional training in integrated medicine at the Institute of Family Health. She has a private practice in New York City and in Florida, and she teaches people how to use food as medicine through individualized, nutritionalized counseling. Her company, Naz Maduro Nutrition, is a multicultural and multilingual insurance based nutrition practice that focuses on providing culturally driven medical nutrition therapy to individuals and families. Wow.
Very accomplished, right?
Wow, I am so impressed by this. I hope I did well in introducing you. Was there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think you hit all the bells and whistles. That was pretty good.
Really excited to have you here. Can you tell us more about your personal journey through food and with food?
Sure. I grew up in a Latino household, so food was everything. We celebrated with it. It's a big traditional, we had a lot of traditional dishes. But I also saw how some of our habits can lead to a lot of issues in our health,
Hmm.
including, the sweet drinks, the skipping vegetables. That can hurt definitely our health over time. So I began to see that with my own family, that people that were older. And I come from household of bakers. So my mother had a bakery in Brooklyn for about 8 years. And during that time, I was in school, and we would go and help her out and bake and do so many. Everything was around food, but around sweet, and that really shaped a lot of my childhood because although I cooked um, and baked a lot, it was never around health and wellness, and I saw that. So that really kind of sparked that that idea of becoming at some point somebody that knew about food and wellness and how that could be utilized to prevent and treat diseases as well. So that really led to my personal journey in food and nutrition through coming from a background of bakers.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we have similar backgrounds of having like really good cooks in our family. So I love that. I love that. So were you like, I mean, you've kind of insinuated that you weren't, but what was the understanding of nutrition that you did have growing up?
Honestly, it was not probably a positive one. We had no understanding in general about what was even a carbohydrate or a protein, other than the
Right.
negative things that tends to be tied into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like many first generational kids, our parents did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
And um, I really didn't have a lot of understanding other than like carbs are bad or they make you gain weight or
Mm-hmm.
don't eat a lot of this or a lot of that. And there was a lot of stigma around food. So it was not necessarily nutrition wasn't a positive association when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I never learned how to read labels. Nobody taught me that, not even in school. I think
Right.
now we're doing much better in our school systems in New York and over the country, in the US, teaching kids about nutrition in a positive way, but there was no conversation in the public schools that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there was no really understanding in a positive way in my household when it came to nutrition. It wasn't until later that I understood that food can really support. or sabotage our energy, our mood, our goals. And really throughout the years, I've been able to like shape that into a much more positive way and really help my clients with that as well.
I really love that. So would you say that most of your clients look like you and I?
Absolutely. And I attract that. When I That was really my reason why I wanted to become a dietitian, prior to even wanting to do nutrition, I was in nursing school. And I always liked healthcare. That was something that I wanted to do, but because it did not come from any nutrition background, I did not even know nutritionist was a healthcare, job that you could do. So
Right.
I went into nursing because that was either that or a doctor, and I think nursing seemed much better for me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started the career, I realized that that was not for me at the time. So I went into Google and Googled what can I do with my classes that I'm taking. What other career? I think I put in something like what other career can I do with my nursing college credits? Because I did not want to go back and do, and I didn't know what to do either.
Right.
So nutrition came in on Google, and then I started like learning a little bit more about it. That it can be an actual degree, and you can have your own private practice.
Yeah.
It can be very impactful, and then that's how like I started connecting everything because I
Mm.
wanted to do something that was impactful for what I know. I never thought of becoming a dietitian and be on Fifth Avenue, like not New York. That was not something that I strive for. I wanted to be able to provide help to people that look like me, and that seemed very doable. And unfortunately, there are still to this day not a lot of people that look like me, like us, in our profession in nutrition. So it really has served me well because of being able to keep that over the years and help a lot of patients that don't even speak English, because I speak Spanish as well,
Mm-hmm.
be able to learn even the basics of nutrition from somebody that is accredited and has a good educational background.
Right. Right. So people that look like us, who like their food, sazonado, you know what I mean? We have a certain way we like to eat, around family and friends and celebrating, with that, like you said, those desserts and those sweets. And we like food that feels good.
Mhm.
So, where do you see that we kind of like struggle most in this journey of getting healthy, eating the right foods?
It really comes down to a lot of generational and cultural layers that we have to undo to be able
Mm,
to create better habits.
yes.
So, as for example, Latinas, we carry a lot of generational beliefs in body image and in food and
Mm,
stigmatizing food in many ways.
mm,
In life, it's busy. Honestly, typically, their typical Latino, it's an immigrant person who works 50, 60 hours a week and doesn't even have time to even probably cook healthy food or
yeah.
learn about it
Yeah.
until they get to the doctor sick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a
Mm-hmm.
huge barrier. I think the barrier to the cultural beliefs that we have tied into food and body image, and the fact that our community just works a lot. They don't have a lot of good health literacy, and that leads to a lot of struggles with consistency, because at the end of the day, if you want to make changes in anything in life, you have to be consistent. That has
Mm-hmm.
to happen, even if it's just one thing. I
Mm-hmm.
tell my clients 0% times zero is zero. Like it doesn't lead to anything. 1% is going to lead to something over time.
Mm-hmm.
So consistency is a big struggle because of the long work hours that our community tends to to work and have issues and the low literacy, health literacy that tends to be in our community.
Yeah. So, how can someone like me, like a healthy, holistic chef who wants to help people, really like gain that consistency around the way that they're eating? Like, how can I help?
I think with your background, you can make healthy food taste amazing. Like one of the things that I can do, for example, as a dietitian, is to provide the counseling, the support, um, even like the meal planning of it. But to make it the action to
Mm-hmm.
know how to make it flavorful and taste good and cultural in a way that culturally makes sense,
Yeah.
somebody like you can can make that happen, can help people get that uh,
Mm-hmm.
actionable step. So I think that will be a good match, if you're able to maybe start creating healthy food taste amazing
Mm-hmm.
in a cultural way, and
Mm-hmm.
that'll make things a lot easier. And because if I recommend you to have, just for example, English muffin, just for example, that doesn't resonate with a lot of people in our culture. Uh,
Exactly.
we don't eat English muffins, but maybe you can make something like an arepa a lot easier and healthier. And you find that a lot of people are already making arepas at home. They just need to maybe have change the flour or some of the ingredients to make it a lot healthier for their particular goal
Mm-hmm.
that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. One of the things that, as you were speaking, that first came to my mind was the seasoning blends,
Mhm.
because we use a lot of sazon, adobo, all these spice blends that don't have anything good in there. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing good in there, but it's that flavor that we're trying to capture. You know what I mean? That we're so used to. So I think maybe if I made some spice blends readily available, or like herbal things that allow them to like season their chicken or season their meats in a way, or even like you said, like the flour, you
Mhm.
know, healthier flour blends, arepa blends, like basic things like that, that is not out of reach for us, but
Yeah.
matches what we're used to already seeing and tasting. So yeah, that's good. That's
Exactly.
really,
And all
really
these
good.
things can help support energy, digestion, hormones, because all the spices that we use, they're pretty good. It's just that when we buy them in a bottle that has all these other fillers and ingredients and dyes, that's when it becomes a problem. But if we go back to our grandmother's kind of recipes, where it was not with all these additives in it, um, it can actually support building healthy habits.
Yes.
So like you said, that's a great step, and it's very culturally appropriate to do that, and people will resonate with that
Mm-hmm.
when you start saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Well, you are a busy woman. I know that you need to go help the community. And so I'm going to let you do that. But I really appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can work together in the future in helping more customers, more clients, more people that look like us get to where they want to go and meet those nutritional goals and habits.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.